Father Paul O'Brien, pastor of St. Patrick's Parish in Lawrence, Massachusetts. Father O'Brien is a tells-it-like-it-is, Harvard-educated Catholic priest who has served with the poorest of the poor with Mother Teresa of Calcutta and founded a meal center to feed the hungry in his own city of Lawrence. He also can claim another famous O'Brien as his good friend. Carolee McGrath tells us more.
Lawrence, Mass. Is a smaller city north of Boston, which certainly has its share of big city problems. In the center of it stands St. Patrick Church, a diverse inner-city parish with a sometimes brutally honest pastor, not afraid to preach Jesus on the streets.
Life is very short here, and nobody ever said you connect with people when they walk in the door of the church. Whoever said that? You're supposed to connect with people. You're supposed to go out to the whole world and proclaim the good news. Well, the whole world is right on the streets of Lawrence.
St. Patrick's is home to 10,000 families. Father Paul O'Brien, the pastor, says poverty, drugs, and hunger are real problems in his community.
Of any really inhabited city or town in Massachusetts, we've got the lowest per capita income. It's about $17,000 per year. About 30% of kids live below the poverty line, 25 to 30% of people live below the poverty line, and a significant percentage of seniors do as well.
While the need can seem overwhelming, Father Paul, a Harvard grad, isn't easily discouraged.
My goal is with every human being on this planet to share the truth of who Jesus is.
Father Paul, who was the subject of the 2008 PBS documentary Scenes from a Parish, says he never really thought about becoming a priest.
I had no plans for what I was going to do after college. I was just in college, and I all of a sudden, at the end of my freshman or sophomore year of college, was at Mass not paying particular attention and had a knock over the head experience of God's calling me, telling me that he wanted me to be a diocesan priest. It was as clear as that.
Father Paul was ordained a priest in the Archdiocese of Boston in 1991 and was assigned to St. Patrick in 2001. Lawrence is known as the immigrant city, with the first wave of immigrants coming from Ireland. Today, Latinos make up the largest immigrant group, about 75%, in the city of close to 80,000 people. There are 9 masses per weekend in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese.
If you go to these different masses with very, very different styles and different kinds of people, you very quickly get a sense that whoever they are and whatever the style is, people are quite serious about God.
And that's evident with the more than 50 ministries at the parish, including a pro-life ministry and a meal center built by the parish in an adjacent parking lot called Cor Unum. The nonprofit opened in 2006 and serves restaurant-quality meals to people in need. The meal center was the dream of just a few parishioners in 2001.
Then we went out and we said, if this is God's will, there will be people who want to fund this. If we find over some period of time there aren't people to fund it, then we'll take that at God's will at some point. So from 2001, it was just 5 years. And in September of 2006, we opened Cor Unum, and we now serve 250,000 meals a year.
One of Cor Unum's supporters is late-night comedian Conan O'Brien, a close college friend who's not related.
He was one of the people who conceptualized Labels Are for Jars, the organization that raised most of the money to build and support Cor Unum. And when he's here, he and his wife and his kids, waiter and waitress at Cor Unum.
Father Paul, a big proponent of Catholic education, is also on the board of trustees of Lawrence Catholic Academy, just around the corner from the church. It's a collaborative effort of St. Patrick Parish and Our Lady of Good Counsel. Rumelo Cabrera attended Lawrence Academy and is now a sophomore at Notre Dame Catholic High School.
When I was 3, my dad left, so God helping me and my mother out, because we only lived by ramen noodles. And then we met this lady, and she helped us out. She basically took care of me while my mom took double jobs.
One of Father Paul's hooks with the youth is basketball. Every Sunday night he opens up the parish center for pickup games. Now many of the teens who come have never been inside St. Patrick's, but Father Paul says it's a great place to start with evangelization.
There's absolutely no fighting. There's absolutely no use of weapons. There is, during the games, it's a technical foul if you use the F word or the N word. In Lawrence, every other word is the F word or the N word. So as simple as that sounds, it's a basketball experience that's just like playing basketball in the streets, except the expectations of behavior are very Catholic, they're very elevated.
Father Paul says in most cases, this is the only place to introduce teens, many of whom are in gangs, to the love of Christ.
Some number of kids who are playing basketball right now will be dead next year at this time. If I waited around to interact as a priest, or if we as a community interacted deeply with kids when they come into the church, well, those kids are going to be dead before they come into the church.
Blunt, maybe, but on point, say the many lay people who support Father Paul's mission to bring Jesus to the world.
It's a reality when you have a community, not just because it's an immigrant community, but a community that struggles, trying to get quality education, trying to get a job that is stable, and trying to find opportunities to really secure the basics, the housing, food, healthcare. So I think it's important for a church, a faith-based institution, to be able to understand what the community is like, because that's what Christ is going to be like. That's how we're finding Christ.
And that's how they're bringing Christ's love, joy, and mercy to Lawrence and beyond. Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.